Have you ever said something harsh to someone that you later regretted just because you were completely overwhelmed? If this has happened to you, know that you are not alone. Many of us find ourselves in this kind of a situation, and it's confusing when it happens. It can be hard to explain to that person, why did we say that? It's also hard for us to understand it. But these things often happen because we become dysregulated. When the brain detects a threat, it takes less than 1/20th of a second for our body to activate a stress response. And once this happens, it's really hard for us to stay in control. So today I want to further explain what it looks like for us to regulate ourselves when we're under intense stress. And what are some strategies that you could put in place to better support yourself physically and mentally so that you don't end up saying or doing things that you later regret. Let's get started. There are many situations, large and small, that can cause us to feel overwhelmed. Right now, I want to give you a simple way to understand what's happening in your body when you do become overwhelmed. There's a concept called the window of tolerance developed by Dan Siegel. Think of it as the zone where you feel calm, present, and able to think clearly. When you're inside your window, your nervous system is balanced. You can handle stress, stay connected, and respond instead of react. But when something feels like too much, maybe you get cut off in traffic or someone says something to you that really hits a nerve, your autonomic nervous system takes over. If you go above your window, that's your fight or flight response. You might feel anxious, angry, reactive. Your body is gearing up for action. If you drop below your window, that's more of a shutdown state. You might feel numb, disconnected, or exhausted. And here's the key. None of this means that there's anything wrong with you. This is just your nervous system trying to protect you. So the key to self-regulation is to notice the state you're in, and if you do go above or below your window, you have some tools to gently guide yourself back. Now I want to share some things that we can do to help us become regulated when we have left our window of tolerance. Okay, the first things I want to talk about are things that we do to support our physical bodies. Now, when we get really anxious or stressed, our breathing can become very shallow and fast. That's kind of that anxious breathing. And when that happens, sometimes we start to run short on oxygen and we get too much carbon dioxide in our systems. But carbon dioxide actually increases stress. So the first strategy I want to share is called a physiological sigh. Now, this is a pretty simple thing to do anytime. It starts with taking a deep breath, hold it in, and then top it off with a little bit more oxygen. And then a slow exhale. Okay, so you're just filling your lungs with air, and then you're holding it for a second, then just top off a little bit more air. Just bring a little bit more air into the balloon, if you will. And then you can let it out with a slow exhale. So let's do it one more time together. Breathing in, top off, and then exhale. Doing that 2 or 3 times will absolutely relax your body. It also kicks on the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest part of the nervous system. That's what helps our body to really stabilize and calm down. Okay, the second strategy I want to share is a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding strategy. And with this, we actually want to connect our bodies with some sensory information around us. This helps us to just kind of turn our thinking brain back on and reconnect with our environment so that we slow down inside. To do this strategy, we're going to start with the number 5, and we're going to find 5 things that we can see. We're using our sense of sight to ground us with things that we can see. So look around your environment and look for 5 things. Okay, the next number down is 4, so we want to look for 4 things that we can touch. And you might want to touch whatever surface you're seated on, or have something that you're holding in your hand, maybe touch fabric on your clothing, but just look for things that you can touch and notice the sensations as you are finding these different kinds of materials and textures. This is something that is going to focus your mind and help to calm your body. Okay, next we are going to think of 3 things that we can hear. So we're engaging the sense of sound of hearing to try to connect us with some of that environmental sensory stimuli. So listen for different sounds, birds chirping, maybe the sound of an air conditioning going on, whatever you can hear that helps to connect you with your environments. Okay. Next, we are going to try to identify 2 different things that you can smell. And perhaps you have, some lavender or something that's close by, a plant that you can lean into and smell. You're just looking for some different things that you can smell to ground yourself with that sense. And finally, that brings us to the number 1. What is it that you can taste? Can you have a sip of tea or water? Is there a mint nearby? Is there something that you can taste that's just going to help to connect you with that sense? As you go through this different sensory inventory, what you're really doing is you're giving yourself some time to slow down, because when we are dysregulated, things move very fast, and that increases an incredibly quick biochemical reaction in our bodies where adrenaline and cortisol can quickly escalate. But if we are focusing on sensory information that we're grounding ourselves with, that allows everything to calm and relax. And it reminds us that we're safe, because we're really looking for cues of safety. And those different things that you're sensing around you are going to remind you that you are, in fact, in a safe environment. Okay, the final step that I want to introduce is to really move your body. Try to get up, stretch, walk around, even go outside if possible. What this does is it allows your body to physically process some of the cortisol that is in your system. Sometimes we become overwhelmed because of our thoughts. We are interpreting something in a way that causes us to feel very pressurized or activated, or we're overthinking something. It's producing all of this cortisol in our minds, but what we have to do is we have to process that. We have to metabolize that, and we can best do that when we're up moving around. That allows our bodies and our muscles to release certain hormones that can also help us to relax, to calm down, to regulate. So get up, move, stretch, maybe lift something heavy, take a walk around the block. This is a surefire way to slow down your system and to also help you to feel just a little bit more relaxed afterwards. Okay, so now that we've talked about some physical things that you can do to help yourself regulate, I want to offer some strategies that are mental strategies, things that you can do to help manage your thoughts that also help to calm and regulate your body. Okay, number 1 is to name the feeling. There is an expression Dan Siegel offers, you've got to name it to tame it. And that means we just need to know what we're feeling before we can really start to calm that feeling. So just check in with yourself. Ask yourself, what is the emotion that you have? It might help you if you have a visual aid. I use a feelings pillow sometimes, which just lists some different names of feelings. And it may sound very basic to you, but just identifying the name for your feeling will immediately lower your cortisol levels. So name the feeling, and I would also ask yourself, what do I need right now? What do I need? Do I need a glass of water? Do I need to stand up and stretch? Do I need to call someone who reassures me? What is it that you need? So that's the first step, is ask yourself, what do I feel and what do I need? Okay, the second step is to ask yourself this question: what is within my control right now? When we get dysregulated, we're often feeling stuck or trapped or cornered or threatened. There is a sense that we do not have control and we're not safe. So asking yourself the question, what do I have control over right now, helps to create a feeling of personal control and empowerment. Now, you may feel like your answers are limited, but there is always things that you do control. Maybe it's just your ability to do nothing. Maybe what you can control is your ability to step back, to step away, to not engage with whatever is in front of you. There's a saying, I don't have to attend every argument I'm invited to. So sometimes choosing not to engage, not to take the bait, not to react, that is something that you can control. But ask yourself, what is within my control right now? That's a way that you can help to de-escalate from that pressurized feeling. And a final strategy I want to offer is what I like to call a freedom focal point. A freedom focal point is anything that you can imagine that helps to give you a sense of freedom inside. So one example of a freedom focal point is a place, a location, maybe somewhere beautiful, peaceful, a sanctuary spot. This could be somewhere that you like to go, a park, a vacation spot, the library, something that gives you a feeling of just serenity, peacefulness, safety, and allow yourself to go there. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? Just transport yourself mentally to that space, that place, and allow yourself to feel some of the emotions that you associate with being there. Another example of a freedom focal point is to think of an activity that you're looking forward to that's going to help you to relax, that's going to allow you to feel good. Do you have a walk with a friend coming up, or are you going to take a nice relaxing bubble bath later? Do you have a weekend coming where you're going to be able to just rest or watch a favorite show, read a favorite book, do something creative? Sometimes a freedom focal point is just looking ahead to an experience that you're looking forward to that also reminds your body that you can relax and that whatever you're going through is temporary. So play around with the freedom focal points. Think of as many things as you can, but maybe practice using one or two of these things as a go-to so that when you need it, it's there for you. Okay, now that we've reviewed these regulation strategies, I just want to remind you that self-regulation is not about staying calm all the time. None of us are calm all the time, and we don't need to be. It's just about noticing where you're at and having some tools to help you come back to yourself when you need to. Now, I do want to offer you 2 challenges for us to close out with. The first challenge is to think of one strategy that I've shared today and try practicing that strategy. Just do it as often as you can. Maybe it's the physiological sigh, or maybe it's a freedom focal point. Just try looking for opportunities to practice that when you don't need it. And by practicing that, it makes you more familiar with it. It also makes it easier to remember that strategy when you are feeling overwhelmed, and it really can come in handy. Okay, so that's the first challenge, is to practice a strategy. The second challenge is just to try paying more attention to the state that you're in. Throughout the day, maybe just check in with your body and notice, am I in my window of tolerance? Am I in fight or flight? Am I feeling kind of shut down right now? Just notice it. It's not about judging it, and you don't have to rush to change it. But by noticing the state you're in, that allows you to become more attuned. It allows you to anticipate your needs and to just be able to access those tools when you need them. So start to pay more attention to what you're feeling and what state you're in, and this gives you a point of access to be able to regulate yourself when you need to do so. All right, I hope these suggestions are helpful. If you know someone who could benefit from this information, feel free to share it, and I look forward to seeing you next time.